Okay, I'm back here with Dave Oshana with questions about the Enlightenment Transmission and the Enlightenment process. One of the interesting things in the time that we've been able to spend with you has been this combination of the energy work, which happens outdoors usually, and then when we're in session with a group session, this, for lack of a better term, I'll call it group psychotherapy, where the technique that you utilize to drill down into what may be going on with an individual. It's a really interesting technique. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that's happening and how you blend these two things together? Because I've met many teachers where they have one or the other piece, but to blend both together is a unique combination.
When I teach the energy work, it's when I feel the group is ready to do the energy work, and then we go outside, and it's the best thing that I like to do, and it's the thing that causes the most profound coming home to the body, to one's inner awareness, and to a sense of flow, pleasure and connection with everything. But not everyone is ready to get into that. The first minute they walk into a room, they're not ready for it. They don't know what's going to happen. But it's the thing that settles everyone down. The other thing that I do, though, is people use their minds. They use their language every day. And when they're in front of another person, they start to project and they start to imagine things and they start to get triggered. And they're not aware of what's firing up their triggers and making them available and their buttons to be pressed. They're not clear about what they're really saying. They're leaking all kinds of things that they're not consciously aware of. So the process that I do with people when I'm talking to them, or what it has been on this trip, has been to point out the messages that their body language, their posturing, how they orientate their body in space, the words that they use, and the word plays that they don't realize that they're saying. They're saying more than one thing at the same time and they don't realize it. Sometimes their body language is opposite of what they're saying. So they're shaking their head when they say that they like something. I point out those incongruities to the person, and everyone else, of course, in the group has the possibility to observe that and then to reflect on themselves. Are they also doing it?
So does the energy work come first or the group technique come first? I mean, normally what you've done here that I've experienced is folks come in and there's a little talking in the beginning, and then after some period of time we go out and do energy work. So what you're saying is you kind of sense when it's the right time to do energy work, but does the energy work prime us to be more receptive to what's going on in the group session?
Yeah, the energy work quietens the mind. It lets charge and emotion that people walk in with from their busy lives or from arguments at home or being stuck in a traffic jam. The energy work just blows that away and dissipates it, so that when people come back and we have a conversation, they're not full of questions that are disassociated from what they really want to know, questions that are about saving face or avoiding the subject, but they're ready just to be open and receive and be aware of what is really happening inside themselves and what they're really, how they're reacting to what's happening in the room. They're more calm and they're more settled, which means they're ready to do the work.
So in a sense, the energy work helps us to learn how to move in and rest in this energy that expands our awareness and our ability to receive and be present to what's happening in a moment. Would that be accurate?
That's one way of seeing it, that you're learning to do it. But another way to see education, it isn't about teaching someone something and putting something inside them. It's actually revealing and allowing what is naturally inside a person, the wisdom that they already know, and the life force energy that's already healing them and trying to heal them. It's just letting it do its job. So the energy work is actually about taking things off rather than putting things on or trying to be a certain way. It's the opposite of pressure, it's the opposite of self-containment, it's the opposite of trying to be someone. It's actually about expanding and just being.
Expanding and being with whatever's arising in a moment.
Well, we could say that that's what happens, but that's not. There's no idea of a name. We naturally fall into that state.
Mm-hmm.
In the move. It's a moving meditation, but we're not trying to meditate. We just find that we're in it.
Right. I have one more question for you before we take another short break. I'm sitting here next to you. You've been with us for 11 or 12 days, and been in our house and with others, and so we've had a chance to spend a lot of time together. I've also heard folks say that all healing and transformation process can happen non-locally. Does proximity matter, and why does it matter in terms of the Enlightenment transmission?
Enlightenment transmission doesn't need to be in proximity. When I have a connection with people in online events, in the old days there was no video, could just feel them. Some people couldn't get to the event because their internet was down on their island. They still felt it. People asked to come to one-to-ones with me, and the night before, the whole correction happens in their body while they're sleeping or when they're half awake. So it happens over time and space. It can even happen, things start to happen to people when they make a commitment to come to my retreats. They're already changing. For 3 months before, they're going through internal changes. They're very clear. What proximity does is, you're a human being, you like to talk, you like to joke around, you like to see what you're getting involved in, you like to work through things, you like to see that you're getting some attention, that you're getting acceptance, that you're being understood. So proximity gives all those things. We're under the same sky here, we're breathing the same air, we're exposed to the same strong sunshine, and so we feel that we're in it together. Whereas if we're not in proximity, then it would just be some guy up the Himalayas somewhere, or in a cave, or that you read about in a book, and you don't really know him and you can't talk to him. So the proximity matters, yes.
So in essence, what you're saying is, in one way, proximity doesn't matter, but it matters to me because I think it does.
That's right, absolutely. And you will relax more, and if you do the energy work, because then you see it and you hear me talk about it, that relaxes you. So a large part of what happens with people when they're with me is I'm relaxing their nervous system so that they can connect and be aware, and that their energy can flow.
Great stuff. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more with Dave Oshana.